everybody! In today's video, I'm going to show you a technique called Symmetry that I learned from my college professor. This is a super useful technique, and I'll go over several ways in which it can benefit you. Here's how Symmetry works. Basically, when you're using long bows, you're going to actually move the violin away and back towards your bow as you're making your bow strokes. And notice as I'm doing this, I'm rotating a little bit in my hips to facilitate this, and I'm opening my shoulders to bring that violin away. Let me show you what this does when I'm actually playing. So if you can see, I'm moving my violin closer to the bow when I'm going to the frog and away from the bow when I'm going to the tip. There's several reasons that this can be useful. The first way that Symmetry can benefit you is it can extend your reach. If you're a new student and you're not super comfortable with using the entire length of your bow yet, this can help you get more used to that. It can also help a lot if you are either really petite and have really short arms and struggle to reach the tip of your bow, or if you're dealing with tendon irritation in your right wrist, and for that reason you struggle to reach the tip of your bow. I actually dealt with this a lot in college when I was playing a ton, and that was when my professor told me to play with more symmetry, because if I reach out to the very tip of my bow without playing with symmetry, my wrist is bent like that. It's kind of uncomfortable when you do it on repeat over and over all day, and it can cause irritation to the tendons right in here. So I was dealing with a little bit of wrist pain. So my instructor said, why don't you try playing with more symmetry? Because if I can't use the last 3 inches of my bow without bending my wrist to that extreme length, I just move my violin. And I didn't have to bend my wrist at all. So that can help you out a lot if you're dealing with wrist pain from irritation from repetitive motion. The second way that Symmetry can be really helpful is by improving your bow control. If when you go up to the frog, which is the hardest place on the bow to learn to control it, your violin is nice and under your arm and your wrist, it's a lot easier to control the weight. That being said, having more bow control can help you with a lot of different things. Every extended bow technique calls for a ton of really specific control. Off the string strokes, really expressive gestures, very specific bow distribution if you have something that you need to be in one part of the bow and you have to do something on the note before to get to that part of the bow. Playing with Symmetry can help you do that a little bit easier. The third, and in my opinion the most important way that Symmetry can benefit you, is by reducing tension in your body and improving your posture. So if you noticed, while I was demonstrating, I was rotating a bit through my hips. Keeping your hips loose and moving while you play forces your body to constantly rebalance just slightly so you won't lock your knees. Also, having your hips loose helps you keep other areas of your body loose as well. All of my professors have always said, and it's turned out to be absolutely true, that if you're locked up in one part of your body, you're usually locked up in other parts of your body that are connected to it. So if you keep your hips loose, it's much easier to keep your shoulders loose and your elbows loose and your wrists loose and your hands loose and so on. And for violin playing, being really loose and fluid is everything. So just to summarize, you should play with Symmetry because number 1, it extends the reach of your bow. Number 2, it makes expressive gestures off the string strokes and other bow techniques much easier and much more in control. And number 3, It helps you alleviate tension in your body and improves your posture. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Start playing with some symmetry. See how it goes. Have a good one.